Okay, so let's proceed with the next sample problem. So what I have here is a 250 millimeter by 350 millimeter rectangular cantilever beam section shown are loaded with distributed dead load of 10 kilonewton per meter, a live load of 9 kilonewton per meter over its whole span of 2 meters, a controlled live load of 20 kilonewton and dead load of 12.5 kilonewton has been added at its free end. If the F prime C is equal to 35 megapascal, Fy is equal to 415 megapascal, diameter of stirrup used is 10 millimeters and the concrete cover of 40 millimeters. Check the adequacy of the following design provided. Okay, so this variation of this sample problem actually under pa rin siya ng analysis of singly reinforced beam. Kaso, may dalawa tayong i-check dito. First is we need to determine the two types of strengths here. Yung strength na galing sa beam, of course, galing siya sa ating loading. And then, yung galing dito sa ating section capacity. We need to compare it so that we need to know if magiging adequate nga ba siya or hindi. Actually, there is a much easier later on na pwede natin magamit para masabi natin if this is adequate or not. Okay? So first, tignan muna natin yung geometry ng ating reinforcements. As you can see here, yung ating arrangement for our reinforcement ay nasa itaas. Diba usually from our previous sample problems, nasa baba siya palagi. Kasi nga, alam nga natin na kapag naglagay tayo ng, let's say, ng loading on the top of a, let's say, simply supported beam, yung nasa gitna or nasa midspan, yung top fiber niya ay nakaranas ng compression at yung baba nakaranas ng tension. So sabi ko nga, kung nasaan yung tension, dapat andun din located yung ating mga main reinforcement. However, on the sample problem, magiging kakaiba lang yung magiging interpretation natin dito since we are given here as a cantilever beam. Okay, so explain ko lang kung bakit nasa itaas siya. So typically, when having a cantilever beam is subjected to a uniform load or any kinds of load, ang nangyayari dito class, yung support niya lang na nandito is only fixed support. So ibig sabihin in terms of deflection, ang nangyayari it can be bring down or it can be bent downwards. If this is bent downwards, ibig sabihin lang yan class, yung location natin ng dalawang stress, compression and tension, pagdating natin kasi sa tension class, instead na nasa baba, which is typically nakikita natin sa simply supported beam, sa cantilever beam, magiging baliktad po yan. Yung tension, nasa itaas po yan. Ibig sabihin, nababatak yung top fiber na nandito. So that kapag nabata po siya, ibig sabihin nakakaranas yung ating section or yung top portion natin ng tension. So baliktad pagdating natin sa bottom part or sa bottom section. So since naiipit habang nagbe-bend downwards yung ating cantilever beam, naiipit yung ating mga yung ating fibers na nandito. Ibig sabihin, nakakaranas din siya ng compression. Okay? So sabi ko nga sa inyo, kung nasaan ang tension, dapat andun din yung ating mga main reinforcement. Kaya lang sa setup natin for our cantilever beam, ang tension natin ay nasa top. That's why these provided sections here, which is section through A to A, ibig sabihin ng yan, andito yung ating rebar. Yan yung kailangan nating alamin. Kung kaya nga ba i-sustain yung ating cross-section, yung loading na binibigay sa atin. Okay? Okay, so please take note na typically kapag sa mga simple supported beam or usually sa mga midspan, ito yung nagiging setup ng ating stress diagram. Pagdating natin sa cantilever or sa mga fixed support, palagi niyo tatandaan na ang tension ay nasa itaas, ang compression ay nasa ibaba. So that yung ating loading diagram or the stress diagram, magsi-switch up lang po yan. Since yung compression natin ay nasa baba, ibig sabihin lang yan plus, nasa baba yung ating rectangular stress block. While yung ating tensile force, obviously, nasa itaas siya. Dahil andito din yung ating tensile strength or yung ating tensile stress. Alright, so let's proceed with our part 1, which is the beam section capacity. Dalawa ang kukunin nating moment dito. Moment na nanggaling sa section at moment na nanggaling sa ating beam. So let's have a preliminary steps. So same pa rin naman. We need to determine the effective depth. So since yung arrangement of our reinforcement is not symmetrical, we can use the Barignon's theorem. Okay? So using the Barignon's theorem, same principle lang siya. However, our total number of reinforcements here ay 5. So that may 5 tayo dito. So for our first layer, by the way, ang sukat na pala natin dito for the location of the centroid, kasi nasa itaas na yung ating mga reinforcement. So dapat manggagaling na tayo sa itaas. Okay? Hindi na pwede sa baba kasi wala na tayong reinforcement na nandito. Andito pa rin po yung ating tension. Okay? So first is the concrete cover, diameter ng stirrups, and then kalahati ng ating first layer. Okay? So which is this term is only for the first layer. Then for the second term natin, this is for the second layer na nakikita nyo dito. Okay? So let's substitute directly all of the given. So makukuha nating location of the centroid for our main reinforcement is now being 78 millimeters. Subtracting with our 350 millimeters, ang makukuha na nating effective depth is 272 millimeters. Okay? So let's proceed with our first step. Our first step here is we need to assume the failure of our steel. So this is assume that steel will yield. Okay? So ibig sabihin lang na to, the stress of our steel is this is now equal to our yielding strength, which is equal to the 415 megapascal. Alright, so emphasis lang natin dito yung ating stress diagram. So, by determining our beta 1 or the stress block factor, so since yung ating F prime C is now equal to the 35 megapascal, ang ibig sabihin lang po niyan, it will now falls under the second condition, where the value of your F prime C is between 28 megapascal and 55 megapascal. So, you will use this equation or this formula. So, to determine our beta 1, what we need to do here is we need to substitute the F prime C as 35 megapascal on this formula. So, this is 0.85 minus 0.05 multiplied by 35 minus 28 over 7. So, that our beta 1 here is now equal to 0.8. And then, let's now determine the neutral axis depth based on our yield assumption, which is the emphasis of the equilibrium compatibility. So, presenting here on this equation, and also the equation or the formula for the depth of the rectangular stress block. So, substitute back in our equilibrium compatibility and substitute all of the values. So, lumalabas na yung ating value for our depth of stress block is now equal to 109.56 millimeters. Alright, so since nakuha na natin yung ating value of C, of course, we need to check for our assumption. If this is legitimate that our actual stress in steel is nag-yield nga ba siya? So let's substitute according to this formula. So yung ating value for our actual stress for our steel reinforcement, this is now being 889.558 megapascal. Comparing with our yield strength, which is the 415 megapascal, this is concludes that steel yields. So the next thing that we need to do, we can now determine the equivalent rectangular stress block, which is on this formula. So, yung ating value of C, which is 109.56, multiplied by our beta 1, which is 0.8. So, our depth of rectangular stress block is now equal to 87.648 millimeters. And after that, let's proceed on our third step, which is we need to determine the strength reduction factor, of course, relying on our string value. Okay? So I will divide it the actual stress of steel, which is 889.558, to the modulus of elasticity of the steel, which is 200,000. So the value of the strain is now being 0.00445, which means that this is between 0.002, which is the compression controlled, and the tension controlled of the strain, which is 0.005. Ibig sabihin lang nito, class, this is now transition control. Okay? So, next step tayo. So, para makuha na natin dito yung strength reduction factor, obviously, since under nga siya ng transition control, this is now between 0.002 and 0.005. Ito yung gagamitin nating equation. So, let's substitute our strain, which is 0.65 plus 0.25, then multiplied yung nakuha natin kanina, which is 0.00445 minus 0.002 divided by 0.005 minus 0.002. So our strength reduction factor here is now being 0.854. Okay? So let's proceed with our flexural strength para makuha na natin dito yung ultimate strength. By the way, you can first determine the nominal strength. However, kasi class, in the comparison of our adequacy between the beam section and the beam loading, ang pinaka magiging comparison na natin dito ay yung ultimate strength. So, hindi nominal most of the time. Ultimate strength ang nagiging point of comparison dito. That's why, para makuha natin dito yung ating ultimate strength, of course, your nominal strength here should be multiplied by a strength reduction factor. Alright, so yung ating nominal strength here is 0.85 F prime C multiplied by the area of compression, A multiplied by B, then yung ating moment arm na effective depth minus the half of our equivalent rectangular stress block, yung depth na nandito, okay? So, let's substitute all of the given dito, which is ang makukuha na natin for our ultimate moment capacity ng beam section itself is now equal to 127.027 kilonewton meter. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, class, sa adequacy check natin later on, ito yung babantayan nating value. Ibig sabihin lang nito, class, is kapag yung beam capacity natin or yung beam load demand natin is mas mababa dito sa ating capacity, ibig sabihin lang yan, class, kaya ng section natin yung loadings na yon. Pero kapag lumagpas yung ating demand sa capacity, ibig sabihin this is not adequate. Okay? Which is for our part 2, we need to solve for the load demand. Yung load demand na gagamitin natin dito, of course, we need to determine what is the maximum moment from this beam. But first, before tayo makapag-solve ng maximum moment, what you need to do here, we need to determine the factored uniform load. Okay? Which is, since ang load cases lang natin dito, most likely dead load and live load, we can use the 1.2 dead load and the 1.6 live load. So for our uniform load, this is now equal to 26.4 kilonewton per meter. So yan yung sa ating uniform load. For our concentrated load, of course, which is sits at the top of our preempt, so same pa rin yung formula natin. Naiba nga lang yung mga variables, no? So we have here the 1.2 multiplied by 12.5 plus 1.6 multiplied by 20. So our concentrated load at the free end is now equal to 47 kilonewtons. Okay, ngayon, paano natin malalaman yung ultimate load demand? Alam naman natin na when we are dealing with the cantilever beam, okay? So alam naman natin na ang ultimate moment ay palaging nasa fixed support, okay? You can verify this using moment diagram. No? You can do that. However, sinasabi ko na sa inyo na kapag ang given is cantilever beam, ang maximum moment natin occurs only or occurs always at the fixed support. So what can I do here is, ang pwede kong gawin dito is magte-take na lang ako ng summation of moment. For my uniform load, obviously, uniform load multiplied by the length, and then yung kanyang moment arm is yung kalahati ng uniform distributed load, which is L over 2. Then additionally is my concentrated load, which is sits at the top of my free end. Then, syempre, iikot siya sa ating fixed end so that my moment arm here is the length of the beam. So, substitute all of the given here. Ang makukuha nating moment sa ating demand, no? So, which is equal to
for 146.8 kilonewton meter. Ibig sabihin lang nito, ito yung ilalagay mo na loading or ito yung moment demand sa beam natin. Kaya lang kasi, you need to compare it with our section capacity. At lumalabas dito, class, na inadequate po siya. Ibig sabihin lang nun, class, mas mataas yung demand mo kaysa sa capacity. Ibig sabihin, inadequate nga po siya, by the way, no? So kapag mas mataas ang capacity versus the demand, ibig sabihin adequate po siya. Ibig sabihin, kakayanin ng reinforcement at ng concrete mo yung magiging load demand or kakayanin niya yung 146.8 kilonewton meter. So another thing that you can use to check for the adequacy is using on what you call utilization ratio. Actually, napakasimple lang ng explanation na nandito. So, ang gagawin mo lang dito is you need to divide the demand and yung capacity. Kumbaga, demand divided by the capacity. Ano ang magiging interpretation natin dito? Binabantayan natin itong 1 na ito. Ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Ang ibig sabihin lang nun, kapag less than 1, yung makukuha mong ratio between the demand and capacity, ibig sabihin, adequate yon. Kapag lumagpas po siya ng 1, automatic, inadequate na po yon. So, why not to emphasize on this formula or substitute on this formula? So our demand here is the moment demand, which is the 146.8, and our capacity here coming from the beam section, which is 127.027 kilonewton meter. Once we divide it by ang makukuha nating utilization ratio, this is now being 1.156. By the way, this is unitless. Unitless po siya kasi nga, ratio nga yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, lumalabas that this is more than 1. Okay? More than 1, ibig sabihin ang interpretation natin dito is inadequate. Kung less than 1 ang makukuha natin sa ating utilization ratio, ibig sabihin adequate po. Kakayanin ng ating capacity yung demand loadings natin. And this is for the variation of our analysis of singly reinforced